and the incredible Valerie Harper, ladies and gentlemen.
My daughter, and she writes and directs and acts. Does it all, does it all. Oh, I'm sorry, I was...
Did I cast right or what? Did I?
You did everything.
I know.
For 5 years, days and this.
See?
Oh,
It casted itself.
thank you.
All right.
Susie,
So
Valerie,
thank you for all coming.
Yeah.
can you tell us, I think it's such a beautiful story because
Yeah.
you saw this script and you knew right away you had to play this part. What about her script made you say yes right away?
Her, this wonderful person who was so full of her mother, who had been through quite a life and had Alzheimer's, which people don't know enough about. And they don't know enough about what can be done. And that's why you all being here is so wonderful. And I'm thrilled. But that's our little darling here. With her great hair, right? Yes, she looks like a real tootsie. That's from my day, way back.
So was it. Hello there, I'm a
And
Tootsie over
yes,
here.
exactly. And this wonderful, her partner, who writes with her and edits and helps her, but they're a great partnership. And they're not kids. I mean, they're not, what did you?
They're not together.
She said, we're here and we're here, and we know each other 20 years. Never this. It's true.
Yep,
And
that's
you're
true.
adorable. And I love you too, you know that.
Thank
John.
you.
I love you more.
Susie or Val, and whoever wants to answer this, I understand the meeting with your real mother was really quite wonderful. Can you take us back and when that was, when you met her real mother for the first time?
When I met Mom?
Yeah, when you met
Oh,
Mom.
at Silverado. Silverado is a wonderful, old people's wonderful, what do you call it? Assisted living is the name of what it is for older folks to live the end of their lives. And there she was, and she was great. And the great thing about Norma, that's her name, Norma remembered her life with lyrics. Yes, lyrics of songs she could remember. And it was wonderful to watch because she wouldn't know what to say, what to do, and then a song would come to her, and she would jump right. It was incredible. This one, you
No,
talk about it.
No, first I wanted to say that Valerie, I think, I was attracted to the script initially because it was, we had thought and hoped that she would find it different, that it was a more lighter look at Alzheimer's with a bend towards comedy and laughter, which is my mom, and my mom has to this day, you know, with her last little bits of vocabulary, she'll still get a joke out there.
She is. She's
Yeah.
hilarious.
So, and I think that she helped me go through this and carry on going through this without, you know, being completely depressed 24/7, you know, but it's, and I think that Valerie would had such a connection to it because of the music and the comedy, and my mother was a singer, so she's right in that if she couldn't think of something to say, if I'd say, who am I, Mommy? And she'd go,
Norma, what should I say?
say, you are so beautiful to me, and that, you know, so she's been very sneaky that way.
Did you find things with Norma that were specific or that, you know, stirred things up or?
Well, I mean, I've known Norma for a long time before she had this this disease, and you know, she was always such an amazing. Her energy, her love of life, her love of people was amazing, and it's still there in a different form. And I think the reason that this film, we wanted to do this, and we call it a joyous look at Alzheimer's, and people say, what is that, a joyous look at Alzheimer's? And it really is more about finding moments, the moment, and taking that and making that the focus as opposed to the other side of it, and finding those wonderful moments.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Susie, raise your hand if you have a question. I will come to you with the microphone. Susie, what made you say, I want to write a film about this and tell my story? It was so brilliant the way you did the script in the beginning so we could all see that piece. But when did you sit down and say, I can do good with my mom's story?
I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do a short film because they're so difficult to get done as a filmmaker. And we had to raise our own money, and I thought, yeah, I'm not going to do it. But every time I told this story, people would say, how's your mom? And I'd be at a dinner party, or we'd be out to dinner or lunch, whatever, and I'd say, oh, well, Erlanda told me this great story, and this story or that story, and there was a lot of them. But this one in particular, with the girl, because we don't know her name, was so moving to everybody and funny at the same time with my mom, that. And they said, you have to film it. Everybody, consistently said, you need to film this story. And so I got to thinking about it, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought, it is a beautiful story on so many levels. And so I felt I was backed myself into a corner. I had to do it because had it not been for this disease, you would never find these 3 different women from 3 different ends of the world walking arm in arm across the street together, and each one of them making each one of their lives better for a moment. And that's all that matters, is that moment. So.
Hi, I want to thank you for doing this film. It's just made me so much more at ease. My mom had Alzheimer's. She had a wonderful quality of life because, like your family, she was surrounded by love. But I'm petrified that I'm going to get it, but a lot less fearful thanks to this.
Wow. Yes, thank you so much. That makes me very moved. Thank you.
Because when I was a kid, they called it something else.
Senility.
Oh, senility. He's too young. That's what they called it. Senility.
Senility, no.
Oh, she's senile. Oh,
And thank you for saying that, because that is another reason, Pat, wherever you are, that I wanted to make this film, is because I'm sure other people that have experienced it in their families, there's always 1 or 2 caregivers and everybody else sort of looks the other way because it's too scary to look at. And that's unfortunate because, it's just a different way of looking at life, and now it's a different chapter, a different way, but there's still people that you love, and there's just different ways of loving them, and becomes very zen, becomes the moment. It's like it's very Benjamin Button, but there's nothing to be afraid of. It's actually beautiful. There's a lot of gifts that you get out of it. So that was the reason why I wanted to also expose that, so that the people that are afraid to see people that they love go through this, they don't abandon them. It's very important not to abandon them. It's so important to be there for them. And for yourself, they're there for you. I still lay my head on my mom and cuddle. I get right in.
she does. I tell you, she does.
Hi, Susie. I met you the other night after the tribute to Cloris Leachman, and I talked to you that both my mother and my brother had dementia. My mother died at 61. My brother died at 71 4 years ago. And when my mother died, it was all lapsed into Alzheimer's. And I've since learned there are many forms of dementia. And my brother had Lewy bodies with dementia.
It's very hard.
And that's a very hard one. But when you were saying that your mother she has moments with music. My brother had been a disc jockey. And we'd be driving, my husband and I went down to Australia 5 years ago to help look after him, to keep him at home as long as we could. We took a year out of our lives. And he had been a disc jockey in Australia and in the States. And he knew music from the rock and roll days. And we'd be driving along and we'd hear a song and we'd all say, who sang that? Who sang that? And he'd come right up with the person who sang it. Exactly. So there's a lot of wonderful things. I too hope I don't get dementia. I've lived past my mother, my brother, and thank you for bringing it to a lighthearted moment.
My
pleasure.
pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Yes.
Can you talk about the incredible Liz Torres? She's
Yes.
a wonderful character actress, and how did she come to the project?
Oh my goodness. Well, Valerie had worked with Liz on a series called The City?
Oh, yes.
Eh,
Oh, Liz Torres,
yeah.
the best.
And so Tony Cacciati, who is Valerie's husband and our producing partner on this project, mentioned what a great relationship they had had and would I consider meeting with her. And I said, yes. Yes, I would. And he said, you know, she walks with a cane. And I said, and so what? Who cares? And we went to meet her, and she was walking very gingerly and was so excited because she was more excited to work with Valerie again, which was,
We're
of
all
course,
friends.
and love. It was like directing them was like directing two 13-year-olds. I'd have to go. You guys, we're filming right now. Can you? Okay, because we're rolling. Okay, thanks. They were so darling, but Liz was, she went to go get the script and she was hobbling along where I met her and I said, where's your cane? What? You know that I have a cane? I said, get your cane for God's sakes. And I thought it was so wonderful. It made her as vulnerable as Irlanda ever was. And the love that they had was so beautiful. It resonated, right? You could see it, you could feel it. So I was very, very lucky that way. And I was lucky with my whole cast, everybody.
I want this wonderful group that has gathered around celebrating or heralding or just whatever, just feeling good about film or things on film. 5 days it took to do the picture.
Actually, it was 4.
40?
Yeah, actually,
was
it's
40.
4. No, 4.
Or plus a 1
Oh,
day
I'm really
rehearsal.
off.
Yeah, 1 rehearsal and then, yeah,
About-
but 4 shooting days. Yeah.
Isn't that incredible? I think they were incredible. The people, my husband who came in and, you know, threw on his wonderful producer's talent and hat and way and what he can do. And they got along wonderfully, this little group. And so warm, and it was great. And he was also a chauffeur. He drove us everywhere, right?
I mean, I think
He did.
if
He
anybody,
drove us to this.
I mean, I think that Valerie,
Yes.
you bring up a good point because short films, I've done, studio films on a large budget, and we raise the money ourselves. So if they're, as filmmakers or lovers of film, it's an interesting process. It's a lot different when you have to raise the money and you have to work, and you do it on a big budget mentality, but you're doing it with peanuts, basically. And so Valerie and the whole cast were so. They were team players, willing, and everyone loved the story so much. And we had the best of everybody, the best cinematographer, Chris Tufte,
Who happened to, when we did the table read the first time, we had the whole crew there. We wanted everyone to be there for the first table read, and we look over and our DP, Chris, who's brilliant, is just weeping. And we said, okay, we're good.
We're good, yeah. Yeah. And, Ramel Foster Owens, producer, who's done Emmy Award winning. We just had a great, wonderful, high-level team, which I'm proud of because I think everybody the content resonated with everybody, so that was good, and that was
A lot
valid.
of giving from this one, and from this one, and from everybody involved with the film. A lot of giving. But speaking of giving, the people up in the balcony, nothing against you guys. You look great. But is there people up there that want to ask something before we run off? And you get to see, what are they going to see? The comedian? The comedian's coming.
Right back here, right question. We'll take one last question from right here.
Oh. Okay, Patrick's got one.
I just wanted to say thank you very, very much for being Rhoda, and thank you very much for Lazarus for being Lou, and Mary Richards.
That's very
for being-
kind.
So we have so much to thank you for. This is a wonderful movie. I'm a doctor. I've seen both sides of Alzheimer's, and I think that this is a wonderful portrayal of how people can actually survive Alzheimer's, and often we just see people that are miserable, and we can't talk to them. But we actually have to take the time to understand them a little bit more when they have Alzheimer's, talk to them, involve them more in our lives.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh,
you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. That just happened to me with Mary, with darling Mary Tyler Moore. I call her every so often over the years. We don't see each other all that much, but now and then. And her husband, a doctor, Dr. Robert DeLeet. I always say his last name wrong. Tony, how do I say it?
Levine?
Levine. No. DeLeet? Is it Levine? Do you know?
Levine.
Go with that.
Levine.
We'll go with that.
Okay, he would call and say, Valerie, she hasn't talked for 12 days. I wake her up, I try to talk to her, and she's not responding. And she's been trying, and I gotta let you know, and others like you, that time is short. It really is short. And it's going on 2 weeks that she hasn't spoken to any of us. And I thought that was so generous and kind and dear. Anyway, I know what you're saying. I do. I really do. It's a lovely thing to express. And I thank you. Yeah. We're all here for each other, and we're all going to die at some time or another.
Darn
Oh,
it.
you are. Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
I'm not planning on it, no.
Oh, he's not.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's not in my plans, not in my schedule.
Would you please all help me
Guys,
thank the incredible Valerie
Thank you,
Harper.
everyone. Thank you.
So much. Susie Singer Carter, John Priest, thank you for what you've done.